Okay, I'll be outside.
Welcome back to Jersey.
Thank you very much.
Well, we're back with Evelyn again. We've met her at the airport and she's now back in Jersey, having to pick up the threads again. When we last recorded her, she was in Jersey General Hospital. Then you were a bit improved, then you were a bit low in spirit, and then you had to go off to, they sent you off to Oxford, your favourite hospital in Oxford again. Just tell us a bit about what happened then. How did you get away, you know, that sort of aspect of your treatment and the travel arrangements?
It was pretty hard. From the start of my morning, Blue Island, on board the aircraft there was no toilet facilities available, and a kind-hearted gentleman helped me to get access into the toilet.
This was whilst the plane was on the ground, off the ground?
It was just before the plane was putting the wheels down to land in Southampton.
All right.
But I needed to go to the toilet and drain my...
There was a reason for that, behind that, because at customs in Jersey, as I understand it, you had some water in your bag.
No, what it was, I had my health drinks, my energy drinks, and I'd already had one when I got up in the morning, because I set my alarm for 5:30, so I had one to give me a bit of energy to make the journey, and then I took two with me for the journey to get to the hospital, and when I went through security they told me that I was only allowed to take one bottle and I had to drink one or leave one behind. So I said to them that I'd already drunk one and I shouldn't be drinking another one. So they said, well, we can't let you take them both, so can you drink one? So I said, yeah, okay, and I just drank it straight down. So I had to drain my bag.
So once you're on the plane, you had to go to the toilet or do something or drain your bag, as you say. You couldn't do that sitting in your passenger seat, so you
unfortunately not.
Had to use the toilet, but the toilet was not operable, it was closed.
It was out of order.
Right. Well, it's curious that the plane was allowed to fly with an out of order toilet, wasn't it?
Well, I've never actually experienced that before, and I've been flying with Flybe now for some years, and that's the first time I've ever been on board and the toilet's been out of order.
Was that Flybe or Blue Island?
Sorry, Blue Island. I flew back with Flybe because Blue Island wouldn't accept me as a passenger.
So when you, on the plane, there was a bit of a set to, the passenger forced the door open for you?
Yes, he took the bolts off or the hinges off the doors, and then he held it while I went to the toilet, and unfortunately there was no flush, so I just had to close the seat down on the toilet. And I came out and the gentleman put the hinges back in the door, but the pilot wasn't impressed at all.
So when you got off on the ground, the pilot said what to you?
He came up and he was very, very rude. Ian Williamson, his name, and I told him that I had to go to the toilet, that it wasn't in use, and he said no, he said it's out of order. I said, well, I had to use the toilet because I had to drain my bag, and he was just looking at me, so I showed him my stomach, and I told him that I will be making a complaint to the airline, and he came in towards my face and he said, well, you do that then. And I said, yes, I will, but I was quite upset.
The guy who'd helped you, who'd opened the door for you, what did he have to say about it all?
He said to me, as he went down the stairs, because he was the first passenger to leave the aircraft, I was the second, he said to me, because we had to get onto the bus, and he said, don't worry, he said, as soon as I get back to the island, he said, I will be sending an email straight to Blue Island.
Presumably you don't know who that was.
I don't, unfortunately,
If you should happen to watch this video, if it goes out, perhaps you'd get in touch with us and tell us who he is and what he's done about it.
That would be amazing, or any other passengers that were on board that flight on the morning of the 29th.
So you get off the plane, eventually. You have to collect your bags and all the rest of the usual things. Then how did you get from Southampton Airport up to Oxford?
From Southampton Airport, got in a taxi. My son came over with me because I wasn't strong enough to do the journey. And then my eldest son met me at the airport in Southampton because he's studying at university there. Got the cab up to the hospital. Was the
taxi from Southampton Airport to Oxford paid for?
It was, yes.
So that part of it worked okay? That's supposed to be the system as it is? That worked?
That worked, yes. I gave the voucher and that worked.
And that take you as far as the hospital, or just...
It dropped me off outside the main entrance
Right, okay.
to the hospital.
Okay, and then you clocked into the hospital, and then how long were you in the hospital?
I had to wait. I arrived at the hospital at 10 past 10, and I had to wait until 2:30 for my appointment. So just sitting around outside waiting.
So they didn't admit you at that stage. You weren't.
No.
No, you weren't able to make yourself comfortable. You're just sitting around.
Waiting for the appointment at 2:30.
Right. So that day they did admit you.
They admitted me on that day. I had to make my way out to another hospital, part of the John Radcliffe, but it was a Churchill hospital. Had to find my way up there.
All right. So you weren't admitted to John Radcliffe as such.
No,
Right.
I was admitted, but I had to get to the Churchill,
Churchill
hospital,
Hospital. Right.
which was 15-minute bus journey.
Right.